We face this easy shot on A ball where we need to get to the 9 ball which is located here. First of all, we can guide the cue ball to the right side of the table, applying topspin with touch of right. Crucial thing during this attempt will be speed control to avoid landing too close to the side rail. On the other hand, we can send the cue ball to the left side of the table, applying touch of left spin and hitting with very low speed. This option is very predictable because cue ball always going towards pretty large position area, so there is quite low risk to fail this shot. And finally, I'm gonna use natural angle of that shot to guide the cue ball to the right side of the table to play 9 ball into the left side pocket. We use 2 rail positioning and just topspin, so cue ball follows very safe path, and the only thing we need to care about will be speed control. What do you think about these choices? I am practically sure that most players will choose second positioning to the left side of the table, because we don't need to use any difficult spin and speed, and cue ball actually going automatically towards intended area. Going forward, I need to mention this common scenario where we have to cut quite easy A ball and get shape on the 9 ball which is located on the foot spot. In most cases, players will choose very natural shot with just bit of topspin, where cue ball going automatically towards intended area, contacting only one rail. This option is a very natural choice, but some players may have a problem to control speed of that shot or avoid landing too close to the side rail. We can also guide the cue ball to the left side of the table by hitting it low with touch of left. However, this attempt requires good path control to avoid scratch in side pocket. As the last solution, I have to mention 2 rail positioning where we are hitting the cue ball with bit of right spin and use very natural speed. This time we are able to much better control speed of that positioning because we use another rail as a brake. And well, is the choice simple in that case? I believe that last attempt should be your best solution because we can very easily control speed as well as path, so there is very low risk of scratch. Alright, our next scenario might be a huge headache for many players. We have bit of angle on the 8 ball and we need to get to the 9 ball which is located close to the left side rail in top area. We experience quite uncomfortable angle and I am almost sure that many players will choose one rail positioning using right spin. This positioning is of course possible, but stroke quality plays a huge role as we can misjudge amount of side spin and miss A ball. I believe that second option might be much better to control as we need to play a draw shot with touch of left, which allows us to use one rail positioning. However, during this attempt we need to avoid hitting too hard to decrease risk of scratch in left side pockets. And there is final solution where this time we are hitting the cue ball with bit of left spin and use 2 rail positioning. This option requires contact with bottom rail quite close to the corner pocket to produce comfortable path, and crucial will be speed control to avoid landing too far from the 9 ball. What would you do in that situation? And actually, my choice might be surprising, but I would recommend second option and one rail positioning. My solution gives very solid hit, so we can easily control path of the cue ball, and I'm sure that I would choose that shot in stressful moments. Moving on, we face this A ball which we have to shoot down the rail, and we need to get to the 9 ball which is located in the middle of bottom rail. We are actually forced to use side spin to manipulate cue ball's path, and in first solution we try to get shape on the 9 ball on its right side. However, if we even make A ball, there is still some risk of scratch in bottom right corner. To increase confidence of that shot, we can guide the cue ball to the left side of the table by hitting it with a bit of top left spin. This time we use 2-rail positioning and more speed, so it would be better choice for players who want to build more confident stroke. But there is also last worth mentioning option where we are going to use most complicated path. If we hit the cue ball very low with bit of right spin, then it going backwards, hitting 4 rails, and follows very long but safe path from behind. And well, is the choice obvious this time? I think you should consider only between last two solutions depending on your preferences, but in my case deep draw shot would be the best choice because I always like to use spin, which helps me to pot object ball due to spin induced roll factor. Additionally, cue ball follows a very safe path far away from the pockets, so the only thing I need to care about is making right contact with 8 ball. And now we are reaching the point where we experience this interesting scenario where many players still make a surprising mistake. We have very small angle on the 8 ball and we need to transfer the cue ball to the other side of the table, where is the 9 ball. A lot of players will choose this option where we have to play a stun shot to move the cue ball directly towards intended area using only one rail. This shot is of course possible, but because of small angle it is recommended to slightly cheat the pocket to the left, what in many cases will result with frustrating miss. Please, don't do it like this. We don't have to cheat the pocket during second attempt, where this time I'm gonna play smooth follow shot with touch of left. We use 2-rail positioning, but because cue ball going towards side pocket, we need to carefully control speed of that shot. And finally, I need to mention last solution to this situation, where we try to execute a smooth draw shot. This option is much more difficult than the previous one, because first of all we use backspin, and secondly we have to travel from behind and reach bottom half of the table, which might be the biggest problem for many players. What do you think about these shots? I'm pretty sure that the final choice is not a big problem, because I would personally recommend second option. Smooth follow shot and 2-rail positioning is a choice which gives a lot of confidence, and with not that much speed we can produce really good shape on the 9 ball. But if you wanna learn how to execute common shots, you need to check this video where I present another 5 scenarios explaining all advantages and disadvantages.